Good evening and welcome to Thursday Aspirations, a time and a place and a space for teachers seeking a brighter future. Today we're going to look at some other aspects of psychology, practical psychology, and the reason behind the choice of the title, The Eye of the Storm, for the book we wrote that is aimed at teachers who are looking to perhaps augment their career, change their career, certainly in the second half of their professional life to do something different and creative. And the book was looking at step-by-step process of how to achieve that. But the title actually carries in it some important information which I would like to share with you tonight. So why the eye of the storm? And you'll notice the wordplay that's involved there, that normally when you talk about a hurricane, the eye of the storm is that central place when the hurricane is spinning, where actually stillness settles. So as the hurricane moves over a particular geographical centre, the high winds and the wreckage and so on are extreme. And then there's a sudden moment of calm before the other half of the storm hits, if you like. And in crafting the book, it struck me as capturing the experience that I think many people have when they try to make a significant change in their lives. And the last broadcast that we did last week on Thursday Aspirations, we talked about the community of selves, the idea that there are a series of sub-personalities, a series of different aspects to ourself, within ourself, and quite often they're contradictory. So within our inner life, we can be in a storm, or we can find that still center at the heart of the storm. And in our outer life, very often we're moving into stormy conditions. And there are times in our life when things are relatively tranquil, but very often there's change on the horizon. At least there are heavy clouds building up somewhere when we realize that if we want to make change in our lives, we're going to have to go through a period of some disruption and some discomfort. But the point is to make that change with a certain degree of elegance. And as we spoke last time of this idea that there are multiple aspects to ourselves, there's always that part of ourselves that is observing. I mean, even as I'm talking to you now, if you turn your attention inwards at the same time, there's a part of you that is aware you're listening to somebody chattering away on your phone or on your iPad, or however you're listening to this, your computer or whatever. So there's always a part of us, if we become aware of it, that is like the observer, the observing center. And if we can connect with that part, however difficult a situation we're in, if we can connect to that part, then we can center in that part, and then we find a calmness. In religious circles, they talk about the still small voice, but to be able to hear the still small voice, to be able to hear that sort of inner voice within inside us, the voice of our own wisdom, we need to find firstly that center, that eye at the center of the storm. And it is there. It's, if you like, it's in the book, we talk about the conductor of an orchestra, the conductor that doesn't play a single instrument, and yet it is essential for the coordination of all the different parts so that you end up having a harmony and not a cacophony. So I do invite you, as you go through this summer on your holidays, and as you think about your future and what you might do differently next year, and whether you are going to stick with teaching and maybe look for advancement within that role, or whether you're going to do planning for something entirely different, to find where the eye is, that calm place inside yourself where you can look, in a sense, dispassionately and not judgmentally at all that's going on, because then that will enable you to make a much more effective decision and to hold to that decision, because you then make it from the place of the eye and not from one of these aspects of yourself. We were calling subpersonalities last week. One of these aspects of yourself that will have their own agenda that may not be in the best interest of the whole of you in that sense. But from the I, for reasons we might go into on another broadcast like this, from the point of view of the I, it always has your best interests at heart.